guys. It is Sid here, the owner of Crystals of Quartz, your spiritual muse, and all the other good things that I am. And now I am a mother. This is Cassidy. You can't see her very well because she's all snuggled up, but she's going to probably be with me for a lot of these videos in the future. So yeah, the last video I was pregnant, and now here I am with a baby. That's my fun news. So I just want to jump right into this video about the full moon in Virgo on March 9th, 2020 at about 5 a.m. here on the East Coast. And this is a pretty interesting full moon. It's going to be a super moon, and there's a lot of stuff going on. So it's a full moon in Virgo, and now Virgo energy tends to be kind of critical, anxious, finicky. It can be a little bit of a difficult full moon for a lot of people. It's going to have you really thinking maybe possibly a little too critically about yourself or others. So ask yourself at this time if you can be a little bit easier on yourself or others. And ask yourself if you're paying attention to the world going on around you, or if you're just stuck in your head, right? Are you having issues being stuck in your head? Are you grounded in reality, right? Because Virgo is an earth sign. So are we being grounded in what's actually physically happening? Have you been helpful to others? Have you been negatively focused lately? Have you been complaining a lot or worrying a lot? It's always a good time at the time of a full moon to let things go, because from here on out, the moon gets smaller, right? It starts to wane, so it's a time when we can release. So allow yourself to really let go of any negative stuff that you're holding on to at this time. You might want to do something that helps others this month and put your focus on others instead of your help, and instead of being critical, maybe just help someone when they need something. Allow yourself to dream and just kind of take it a little bit easier. So Virgo full moons tend to bring out this perfectionism. Virgos tend to be perfectionists. I'm a Virgo moon, so I am here to say that that's definitely true. I had a lot of issues, especially growing up, about just wanting to be perfect and realizing you're never going to get there, right? So it's a good time to kind of reflect on the things that are your faults and either accept them or work on them, right? Because sometimes we have to just accept certain aspects of ourselves, and it's okay. It's okay to not be perfect. And, that took me a long time to realize, but hopefully, everyone out there is going to kind of be able to come to terms with some things about themselves that aren't perfect during this time, or to really take an active role in changing them and allowing ourselves to release them. So just remember that it's okay to work on yourself, but that beating up yourself isn't going to solve anything. So maybe make a list of the things you're really good at and the things you're crushing it at. And at the same time, which is what I always do during a full moon, is write a list of the things you want to release and then burn it. That's an amazing ritual to do. Now that we went over the basics of what a Virgo full moon means, I'm going to go into some of the crazy aspects that are going on during this full moon. So we have 7 planets in earth signs, which means that it's time to take physical action. So we have definitely a lot of earthy action going on, and it's time for you to get down into the dirt and actually work on things. So if you have an issue with yourself, something you're beating yourself up about, stop beating yourself up about it and actually make a change, right? Even if it's just something small. Now, Mercury is also in retrograde for one more day, and it is in Aquarius. So this is going to be helpful for problem solving and being the best you can be, which is what this Virgo full moon already wants out of us anyway. It doesn't want you to beat up yourself about things. It just wants you to try to be your best and accept where you're at in general. So what else is going on? We have the sun doing some interesting stuff. The sun is sextile Mars, which is going to be about setting goals and meeting objectives. Great thing to do at a full moon, to set goals for things you want to release. And you can think about the objectives that you want to create, by the next new moon, and when you're focusing on really creation at that point. Now, we also have the sun sextile Jupiter, which is going to bring about confidence, optimism, and new experiences. So trying new things, maybe getting out of our heads a little bit and getting to the physical action of things, right? Actually physically going out and trying new things. We also then have the sun conjunct Neptune, which is going to be about looking at the big picture. It's going to be about our intuition, a need for structure, and this Virgo full moon can really help with that. Then we have the sun sextile Pluto, Now, this can bring about secrets, manipulation, but also the conviction to achieve at any cost, which can bring about some of the negative aspects of a Virgo full moon, because you might be willing to find that perfectionism by, maybe stepping on others or doing things unethically, that kind of thing. So really make sure that, if you're achieving at any cost, you still keep your morals in mind, and, you do a lot of different things to achieve the things you want, but also not harming anyone else in the process or yourself, right? So don't overwork yourself, and also don't, step on others. That's never a good thing. So just my little tidbit. Now, to get on to what's going on with the moon, which is really what we're focusing on now, we have the moon trine Mars, which is going to be very helpful for problem solving. And Mars is, the warrior, the planet of the planet of action. So anytime anything you want to solve right now is going to be very helpful with this moon trine Mars energy. We also have the moon trine Saturn. So we have a lot of trines going on. If you look at the chart, which you can see in my blog post, there is a lot of energy. And my blog post, by the way, is on crystalsofquartz.com. You can find it. If you go into the down tabs, you will see that I have a lot of blogs. I always write these up before I film the video. So we also have the moon trine Saturn, which is about emotional stability. Then we have the moon trine Jupiter, which brings about an optimistic and generous energy. It's infectious. So people are going to like to be around you. It's going to be a time when it's a little bit easier to express yourself and just be positive, which can be a little bit difficult sometimes when you're in the middle of a retrograde or at the end of a retrograde. Maybe you're already worn out from it. So Mercury retrograde just got to me, or maybe just me, who knows. You don't always have to blame it on the retrograde. So my phone just died, so that was a little blip in the filming. But we also have the moon trine Pluto, which is going to urge us to be careful with how we express our opinions. So be careful with how things come out, because we are still in Mercury retrograde, and you don't want to have that one last slip up, right? And say something that is offensive to someone, or, that is just not coming out the way you mean it to. So just be careful with how you express your opinions. And then we also have the moon opposing Neptune, which is going to bring about a lot of deep thinking. We have Venus square Saturn, which is going to bring about issues with authority, a need for approval and acceptance. And then Venus conjunct Uranus, which is going to bring about a need for freedom and expressing yourself creatively. Mars conjunct Jupiter, which brings about a need for adventure, but be careful of your ego, right? Don't let that ego go too wild. And then we have Mars sextile Neptune, which is going to bring about a creative energy, but also a little bit impractical. So just try to, be mindful of things and be a little more practical if you can. And then we also have Jupiter sextile Neptune, which is going to bring a very compassionate energy, which is going to maybe help us with the whole Virgo being of service sort of thing, where you want to be helping other people. And then we have Jupiter conjunct Pluto, which is all about truth seeking. So it's an important time to kind of lay things out and see things as they are, especially during Mercury retrograde, because you don't want to be speaking things that are not the truth, right? We want to be very impeccable with our communication. And then we have Saturn square Uranus, which is going to bring about a chaotic energy. So just really try not to be judgmental if you can with all this Virgo energy where we can be a little overly critical. Try to, just soothe that in yourself. And then we also have Saturn conjunct Pluto, which is going to bring about a delay in deep thoughts and intense self-reflection. So, a very interesting full moon that we have with a lot of interesting aspects. So, overall, the theme is kind of this whole don't be too critical, indulge in your creativity at this time, and just try to be optimistic and, be careful with how you express yourself, and try to maybe express yourself in a more creative way rather than letting things out in a way that might not be as beneficial for you. and then just focus on releasing whatever it is that's negative in your life that doesn't serve you. And yeah, you can really do some great work right now in terms of release. So I want to add a little something extra this time. So I have these Crystal Moon Magic subscription boxes. I don't know if you guys were aware, but one of the things we do is we talk about some crystals that are good for the particular moons. We get 2 a month. So there's the Crystal Moon Babe box, which means you'll get the whole write-up for what's going on with the moon. It'll tell you about 5 different crystals, and it'll tell you how to work with them. So this month for the full moon, we have, and by the way, it's for the full moon and the new moon, so you get 10 crystals. You get a whole write-up on how to use them for the moon and how to work with that energy, right? So this is pink amethyst, and it is going to help us with guidance from our soul. So trying to keep ourselves aligned with our soul guidance is going to be really helpful with this particular full moon. And then we have fluorite, and fluorite is helpful for universal consciousness, grounding, and clearing mental fog. So in order to be a little more positive, we can use this, and we can connect with the universal consciousness and be a little more grounded with that Virgo energy as well. We also have moss agate, which this is actually a bead, so you'll be able to wear this one. And this promotes optimism and attracting abundance. So that's going to be really important with this full moon, is to be a little more optimistic with all the perfectionist energy that's happening with this Virgo full moon. So not beating ourselves up too much, that'll help with that. You can literally string it around your neck and wear it, which is nice. Because sometimes, you know, people are like, well, what do I actually do with these crystals? So in my blog post, you'll also see a description of some different rituals that I can do and that you could do that are just super simple, that are just going to help you to kind of work with the energy. Now, this is another one of my favorite crystals that I don't get to talk about very often. It's called fuchsite, and it is a beautiful mica-based crystal. It's actually what makes green aventurine green, fun fact. But fuchsite teaches us self-worth. So realizing that we are very worthy even despite our flaws. And that's something that is, you know, sometimes hard to remember around a Virgo full moon. And then we also have kyanite, which is really helpful for all the deep intuitive thinking that's going on during this full moon. So it can help us to really dive into that. And I just love kyanite for the third eye. So those are the crystals that I'm offering for this full moon. If you're interested in them, let me know, and we can do just the crystals if you're interested. And they're also available in the Crystal Moon Babe box. And then there's also different tiers of boxes that you can get as well. So check that out. It is on the website crystalsofquartz.com. And as always, if you have any suggestions for new videos and things you have questions on, definitely let me know. And I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you enjoyed meeting my little baby. And she'll probably be with me next time. So thank you guys so much for watching. It's always a pleasure to film these videos for you. I love talking about all of this kind of stuff. So if you have anything else that you would like to learn about, that you want to hear my input on, let me know. And we will also be filming the birth story soon in between this and our new moon video. So stay tuned for that if you're interested in hearing about how this little one came into the world. And if you like this video and you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Maybe comment below and tell me what you liked about it, or any other things you want to hear about in the future, or input that you have. So anyway, thanks guys, and have a beautiful, wonderful full moon.